Alright everyone, let's talk cybersecurity. We all know how important it is to stay updated, especially when it comes to our operating systems, but what happens when you can't? Microsoft's Windows 11 has some pretty hefty system requirements, leaving many users with older hardware out in the cold. I mean seriously, TPM 2.0, not cool Microsoft, not cool. So what are your options if your trusty PC is stuck in Windows 10 limbo? Well, our friends over at ESET, the antivirus folks, they've got a suggestion for you. Linux, yeah, you heard that right, Linux. Now before you click away, hear me out. I know Linux can seem intimidating, but trust me on this one, it might just be the perfect solution for you. So, Windows 11, sleek, modern, and locked behind a wall of system requirements. Microsoft says it's all about security, but this whole TPM 2.0 thing, it's left a lot of perfectly capable PCs in the dust. Even some relatively new laptops are getting the short end of the stick. And for what? A slightly redesigned start menu and some new widgets? That doesn't exactly scream must-have upgrade to me, but staying on an unsupported OS, that's a one-way ticket to Hackersville. No security updates, no patches, you're basically a sitting duck. So, what's a tech-savvy individual like yourself to do? Well, that's where ESET comes in with their suggestion, Linux. Yep, that open-source operating system that's been around since the dawn of the internet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Linux? Isn't that for hackers and programmers? And yeah, it's great for them, but it's also come a long way in terms of user-friendliness. There are tons of different distributions or flavors of Linux out there, many of which are designed specifically for everyday users like you and me. We're talking simple interfaces, familiar applications, the whole 9 yards. But here's the kicker. Linux is known for its security, like Fort Knox levels of security. And because it's open source, any vulnerabilities are usually found and patched super fast by the massive community of developers. Plus, it's lightweight, meaning it can breathe new life into those older PCs that Windows 11 has deemed obsolete. So, maybe ECT is onto something here. Maybe Linux is the answer for those of us who are feeling a little left behind by Microsoft's latest and greatest. Okay, so ESET, a company known for its antivirus software, is recommending Linux, an operating system that's practically immune to viruses. Seems a little counterintuitive, right? Well, not really. See, ESET isn't just an antivirus company, they're a cybersecurity company. And that means they're all about promoting best practices, even if it means potentially losing a few antivirus subscriptions. They recognize that security isn't just about having the best software, it's about choosing the right tools for the job. And in this case, for users stuck on unsupported Windows versions, Linux presents a compelling alternative. First and foremost, Linux is just inherently more secure. Its architecture, the way it handles user permissions, it's all designed with security in mind. Plus, that open-source nature I mentioned earlier, that's huge. With thousands of eyes scrutinizing the code, vulnerabilities are found and patched quickly, often before they can even be exploited. Compare that to closed-source systems like Windows, where vulnerabilities can linger for months before a patch is released. But security isn't the only reason ECT is giving Linux a thumbs up. It's also incredibly cost-effective, like free, as in beer. Most Linux distributions are completely free to download and use, no need to shell out hundreds of bucks for a Windows license. And it's not just the operating system that's free, there's a vast library of open source software available for Linux, covering everything from office productivity to photo editing and even gaming. So you're not only getting a more secure system, you're also potentially saving a ton of money. Now that's what I call a win-win. Chapter 3. Linux, the Fort Knox of operating systems. Let's dive a little deeper into this whole Linux is more secure thing, shall we? I mean, what is it about this open source wonder that makes it so darn resistant to malware? Well, for starters, it's all about that Linux kernel, the heart of the operating system. It's designed with a robust security model that enforces strict access controls. Basically, every process and user on a Linux system is confined to its own little sandbox, so even if malware does manage to weasel its way in, it's very difficult for it to do any real damage. Then there's the open source factor. Remember those thousands of eyes I mentioned? Well, they're constantly scrutinizing the code, looking for and patching vulnerabilities. This collaborative approach to security means that Linux benefits from a global network of experts working tirelessly to keep it safe. And because the code is open, anyone can contribute, so improvements and fixes happen at a much faster pace than in closed-source systems. But it's not just about the technical aspects. The Linux community itself plays a huge role in its security. It's a passionate bunch, very security conscious and always willing to share their knowledge and expertise. From online forums to dedicated security mailing lists, there's a wealth of information available to help users protect their systems. This strong sense of community and shared responsibility contributes to a security-first mindset that permeates the entire Linux ecosystem. And let's not forget about the package management systems used by most Linux distributions. These systems provide a centralized way to install, update, and remove software, ensuring that everything you install comes from trusted sources and is kept up to date with the latest security patches. Chapter 4. Free as in beer, the financial perks of going Linux. Alright, let's talk money, or rather, the lack thereof. One of the most appealing aspects of Linux is its affordability, or should I say its freeness. That's right, you can ditch those pricey Windows licenses and embrace the world of open-source software without spending a dime. Most Linux distributions are completely free to download, install, and use, with no hidden fees or subscription traps. Whether you're a student on a budget, a small business owner looking to cut costs, or just someone who'd rather not line up Microsoft's pockets, Linux offers a refreshing change of pace. But it's not just the operating system itself that's free. The vast majority of software available for Linux is also open source and completely free to use. We're talking office suites like LibreOffice, image editors like GIMP, and even professional-grade video editing software like Kdenlive. You can find free and open-source alternatives to virtually every piece of commercial software out there, saving you potentially thousands of dollars in software costs. And because this software is open source, you're free to use it for any purpose, personal or commercial, without any licensing restrictions. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, but free software, that can't be good, right? Wrong. Open source software is often developed by passionate individuals and communities who are dedicated to creating high-quality, reliable, and secure software. In fact, many open source projects have stricter quality control and security standards than their commercial counterparts. So not only are you saving money, you're often getting superior software in the process. Chapter 5. Linux. It's not one size fits all, and that's a good thing. One of the coolest things about Linux is its sheer diversity. Unlike Windows, which basically comes in one flavor, with varying levels of sweetness, I guess, Linux has a whole buffet of distributions, each with its own unique personality and strengths. You've got Ubuntu, the friendly and approachable one, perfect for beginners dipping their toes into the Linux pool. Then there's Linux Mint, known for its familiar interface and ease of use, ideal for those transitioning from Windows. For the more adventurous, there's Arch Linux, a highly customizable distribution that lets you build your system from the ground up. And for those who crave bleeding-edge technology, there's Fedora, always at the forefront of the open-source world. The beauty of this diversity is that there's a Linux distribution out there for everyone. Regardless of your technical expertise or specific needs, whether you're a casual user, a gamer, a programmer, or a security enthusiast, there's a Linux distro out there that's perfectly tailored to your workflow. This flexibility extends beyond just the choice of distribution. Linux is incredibly customizable. You can tweak and configure virtually every aspect of the operating system, from the desktop environment to the kernel itself. Want a minimalist interface that's all about efficiency? No problem. Prefer a more traditional desktop layout? You got it. Linux gives you the freedom to create a computing experience that's truly your own. Outro. So is Linux in your future? So there you have it. ESET's recommendation of Linux for those who can't upgrade to Windows 11 might seem unorthodox, but when you consider the security, cost-effectiveness, and flexibility of this open-source powerhouse, it starts to make a whole lot of sense. We live in a world where cybersecurity is more important than ever, and staying up to date is crucial. If your hardware is holding you back from upgrading to the latest version of Windows, don't despair. Linux offers a viable, and dare I say, superior alternative. Do your research, explore the different distributions, and see if Linux is the right fit for you. You might just be surprised at what you find. And hey, if you do take the plunge, the Linux community is incredibly welcoming and always willing to help newcomers. Summarizing the key points discussed, it's clear that Linux offers robust security, significant cost savings, and unparalleled flexibility. So consider your options and plan proactively for your cybersecurity needs. Staying informed and adapting to new technological changes is essential. Good luck on your journey. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more tech tips and insights. And let me know in the comments below.